Well, hello everyone. My name is Passek, FlyFish Fanatic, and welcome to my tying bench. Today we'll be tying a little cruncher pattern. This is cruncher is a really old British pattern. Been around for 160 years, I think it is, something like that. But I might have to double check. But great little pattern. The cruncher is a huge group of different flies. They just have to have a certain way that it's the recipe, but other than that, it's a huge group, like color variations, everything. So this is just one that I've been using that has worked for me. So here we go. So today we'll start off with a Hends BL354 and a size 10. I'll get one out, and then for the get that out. For the tail, I'll be using a little bit, just a few fibers off of the, that's a little crooked, off of India cock saddle. Okay, and for the hackle in the front, same thing. And for the body, I'll be using some of the Semperfli sparkle dubbing in the copper here, copper brown, this one. And for the body, I'll be using some Semperfli Holo tinsel in the copper. And I'll be using a little bit of the Semperfli light gold as a rib. You won't really see the rib. The rib's just to help hold that Holo tinsel together. And I'll be using some copper NanoSilk. So get her started here. Come all the way back. Scissors all the way back to where the barb would be roughly. You don't want to go around that bend. That's about it right there. Come forward about to there, wax your thread, and then I'm going to take one feather here and I'm just going to stack up some of this some of these barb reels. Just going to get them up, and then I'll just rip off half a dozen, and go back half a dozen, go back half a dozen. Make a little package up here. Make sure that they're lined up fairly decent. So I want about the body length sticking past, so about like that. So I'll transfer it over. Shorten this up here so I get better control. Loose wrap. Keep that up on top. Come all the way back to the place you stopped, about there. Lift this up here, this stuff, and nip it off. That'll get all tied down anyway. So, and then make sure you go under that tail and pull it forward towards the front and over, and under that tail towards the front and up and over. Okay? Just want a little tail on this, not too big. Then I'm going to go back up. I'm going to get my copper wire, or light gold actually. If you got a copper in a small, like this is a 0.2 mil. Yeah, 0.2 mil. If you've got a small and a copper, great. This light gold is awesome. I love this light gold. Really like the color. But again, like I said, you're not going to really see it. You will, but not really. So there's that. Now I'll grab a piece of tinsel, a hollow tinsel here in the copper. Come on. Hold it on my side here. Get her tied in. Doesn't really matter where it ends up sitting, but all the way back to that tie-in point and come back forward. And you want to leave a bit of a space up front here. So that didn't tie in very well. Didn't get all the way back. There we go. Okay. And away from me, I'm going to wrap. Starting right there at the tail. Overlapping wraps. Again, using a copper thread underneath, so just in case I do happen to miss a gap. It's not a huge deal. Not really, but like I'm not going to miss any, but if you do, it's not a big killer deal. Okay, so a couple of times behind, a couple of times in front. Nip off your hollow tinsel. Take your copper rib or your gold rib and counter ribbit. Like I said, you're hardly ever going to see this, but it's just to help hold it all, that hollow tinsel, because that hollow tinsel is the weak point, right? So this will help hold it all together. And on top of that, it does give a little bit of segmentation there, right? So I'm going to actually turn this light down a bit. Give me a glare. There we go. So now that I've got that on, I'm going to helicopter off my ribbing. Then I'm going to take a little bit of that copper brown, and I'm going to make sure my thread is waxed really well. And then I'm just going to make a little dubbing ball back here. It's just going to help hold that that hackle in the front here out, right? So I just want a little dubbing ball. Not going to be much, but just enough to help hold that out. So just going to make sure this is all dubbed nice and tight. I don't want any of these really scraggly guys. So right about where you ended there, right about there, I'm just going to create a bit of a ball. That'll do. Perfect. And again, if there's any of that stuff, just rip it off. Come in front. Again, wax your thread. Make sure your feather doesn't come out, your hackle feather here. So now I'm going to grab a nice thin one here. I don't want anything too big. I don't want a huge hackle on this. And then I'm going to figure out whereabouts lengthwise where I want my... That should be good, starting right there. So we're just going to clean off the back of the feather. That's good. And then the shiny side, obviously shiny side out. So it's going to lay that right beside it there. Again, I've done it already, but make sure you wax your thread. You don't want these things to slip out. So that's nicely waxed. A couple in front, on top of it. Get that stem nicely tied in. Put that away. Get your hackle pliers if you want to use hackle pliers. This one's probably plenty long enough to use my hand, but I'm going to anyway. So now I'm just going to stroke all this bit back as I go around. 2, 3, give it one more. Again, it just depends on the feathers you have. I might give it actually even one more. I like tying some that are a bit more sparse, some that are a bit thicker. This one's going to be on the thicker side. So I'm going to take everything and stroke it all back, including the feather, the tie-in, the piece I was using to hold on to. Just going to create just a small little head. And then I'm going to whip finish. Got one little hair in there. I can always cut it out, but one little hair is not going to make a difference. So now I can cut that off. And then I'm going to take my feather here and I'm just going to kind of helicopter it. That'll break it off. And then you can always just spread it out if you want, but I mean, it's going to make its own place once it gets in the water. And that is your finished copper cruncher. That's it. Real simple little pattern. Real dainty little pattern. They're not big. This is actually probably one of the bigger ones I would tie. But that's it. That is the copper cruncher. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you have not, please consider doing so. And we'll see you guys on the next tying video. Tie lines, everyone!